Welcome to the final part of the sword making tutorial, and in this part we will finish up everything. We will organize your files and folders, we will get the scripts that are needed, and we will upload the sword into Workshop. So we will do absolutely everything that's remaining. Now before we start, you might want to get a few add-ons for 3ds Max. The first add-on is the SMD export plugin, and the second one is the VTF texture plugin. These plugins are needed. Without these plugins, you will not be able to do anything with your sword other than watch it in 3ds Max. Now, when you download these, they come with a set of instructions on how to put them into your 3ds Max, and after you got these, we can go back into 3ds Max. Now, when you load up your sword, what you will have to do is basically go back into these modifiers, and here we will add in a new modifier. This new modifier is the... well, actually, no, we're not going to do anything. We're going to create a bone. Now, to create a bone, we will go into the Create tab here on the top, go down until Systems, and then select Bones I-key Chain. And now we will just drag a bone somewhere. It doesn't matter where or how long it is. It shouldn't be too long. And now, what we will do with the bone is make sure that it's at the correct position and rotation. So we will select the Move tool, which is that one, and we will click on the bone and position it down to 0, 0, and 0 coordinates. Here at the bottom you can change the position of it, so we're gonna put it to 0, 0, 0, and the rotation has to be 90 degrees by 0 degrees by minus 90 degrees. There we go. Okay, so let's just edit out a few things here. Let's see here. There we go. So now that this thing is at 90 minus 0, 90, I mean minus 90, oh fuck's sake. Okay, now that this is at 90, 0, and minus 90 degrees, you have to make sure that your sword is basically put at the same alignment with this. So it should be basically the same way as the bone is. And what you want to do with the rotation, you want to make it upside down. So let's say if this is your upside of your sword, what you want to do is basically, let's see, let's find a good rotation. Here we go. What you wanted to do is make it upside down. There we go. So it should be upside down. Now mine is already upside down, so I've done that already, and it's aligned with the sword and with the bone. Now what you want to know is this bone is basically where your hand is. Now this biggest part of the bone here, this wide part of the bone, is basically where your thumb is. So you might want to position your sword where it should be held. Now mine is going to be held by this end over here. So the thumb will come somewhere over there, and the other hand will come somewhere over at that part. Now that we have the bone, what you want to do is click on your sword, select the modifiers, and then in the modifiers click on a skin modifier. So now we have the skin modifier. Now here down at the skin modifier, here at the bones part, click on add, and then select the bone which you just made, select, and now we have the bone attached to the sword. Now what you want to do with the bone is select it, and here at the top, here is its name, and you want to rename it to sword underline grip. This is very important. The name has to be that, otherwise it won't work. So yeah, sword grip, there we go. Now that's done. Now what you want to do is go back onto your sword model, and here back at the modifiers, add another modifier, which is the smooth modifier. Now what the smooth modifier does, I am not entirely sure, but I know it has to contain a smooth modifier, so we're gonna have a smooth modifier on it. Now that that's done, now what you want to do is just minimize this. You don't want to close it just yet. And now we will make the actual files needed. So what we will do is we will open up VTF edit and convert every single texture into a VTF file. So now VTF edit is open. What we will do is click on import. Here at import, you select your, let's see, where did I save it? Here we go. You select your sword textures. So let's go in here, every single texture which I have made. So let's open up this one first. And now here comes an important part. You have to make sure that this is a DXT5, the normal format. The alpha format should be a DXT5 as well. And the texture type should be an environment map. Now click OK. And now what you want to do is click on Save As. And that's it. Now you have to save it as something. Let's see. Like that. There we go. And now we will do the same with all the other ones as well. So we will open up the normal map as well. There we go. And now don't be scared. It will open up. As you can see, it's not transparent. Now that's not a problem because it doesn't show transparency over here. So don't be scared about that. Just make sure you save it as something. Let's say norm. There we go. The metal and the metal norm. And now we will import the final parts, which is the exponent map. And now we will save this as well. There we go, the metal underline exponent, exp, and now we will import our tracers as well. There we go, let's see, this one. Okay, there we go. And let's save it as the metal tracer. And I already have the other one, which is the dissolve. So now we will go into this one. Nope. Here we go. And let's find our dissolve. There we go. Let's check it out. Yeah, that looks okay. There we go. Tracer dissolve. Okay. Now we have the textures. Now we will go into our Steam folder. Now here comes the interesting parts. So now what we will do is we will go into our Steam apps, common, and Blade Symphony over here. Now we will go into the workshop folder, and here at the materials folder, go into the models folder. And then your ideas as well. Now what you will have to do here is create a new folder for your sword texture. So let's see, the metal. There we go. That's our folder for the texture, and we will put this, this, and this. So the normal, the diffuse, and the exponent map goes into here. And now what we will do is we will get another file from here. There we go. And this is going to be included. Now this is the VMT file for the textures, and this file basically controls your textures and how they work. This is a working VMT file containing absolutely everything that you need for a sword to look good. And all you have to do is just change up these stuff over here. It's very simple. So what you will do is you will go and change out your ID and your name and everything. So I'm just going to change out the name to the metal here and everything else to the same. So let's see. We will use the replace. There we go. Now everything's nice. All right. And it's done. That's it, pretty much. That's it. Now I will include one that's default, and you can just change everything that has to be changed in it. I will include it where you have to change it. And now you save it. Save. And now what you do is you put it here with the textures. Now your texture file, your normal texture file should be the same name as the VMT file. So as you can see, this one should have the same name as this one. Now what we will do is we will go and get the tracer as well. So we will go back into the materials folder, and here at the materials folder we will go into your ID, and then in here this is where your tracers come. Now we will create a new folder for the tracer as well. There we go, and the two tracer files go in here, and then this one, which will be included again, goes into here. So let's see. There we go. And now what we will do here is just change up everything with. There we go. There we go. Alright, now we will go back and remove these because we don't want those. Just making sure that it's gonna work correctly. So what we do here now is exit this for a while. And then I'll make sure I put everything into an organized place before I do anything at all. All right. And let's see here as well. These, let's cut them and put them into. This is a good way to keep your swords organized because you have everything in one folder. So now we have the tracer. Now what we will do is remove these names because we don't want these names. I don't think so. Nope. There we go. Let's remove these. Okay. And remove this as well. So these will be included into the description box. So you will have these files already available for you, so you don't have to write them. You will just have to edit them. There we go. We have the tracer as well. So keep in mind that the name should be the same again. And now what we will have to do is basically make the sword object and export it. So what I mean by that is going back into your 3ds Max, and here press M, so it will bring back your texture. And now here click on this map 1D metal PNG or whatever you named it. And now here, over here at the bottom, there's a bitmap part, and you click on this little box beside it. And now you select where you put your stuff. So we will go into Steam Maps, Common. So this is where we put our VTF files in Steam. So this is very important. You have to select the Steam folder. Basically, you have to select the texture that's already in the Steam. So we'll go into Materials, Models, My ID, and this is not it for some reason because I'm not in Steam. So we will go into Steam. Let's go down, Steam Apps, and we will go into workshop, materials, models, my ID, select that, and here, this is why we installed the VTF plugin. Here the file type, we will change the file type to a VTF file. There we go. Now it brings us up the VTF files and we select the D metal. There we go. Open. And that's it. Now it's done. Now you want to make sure that this is selected again so you can see that there's no problems with it. Now you exit this. And now that you have your UV map, your skin, and your smooth modifier, your texture is changed to the texture that's in your Steam folder. Now what we will do is click on this icon and click on export. Now we will export it as an SMD. So here at the file type, you will go down to the source SMD file type. This is why we installed the SMD plugin, so we can export it as this, and we will name it as the metal OBG. Now you will need two types of SMDs. One is the object of it, and the other one is the physics. So this is the first one is the object. Save. There we go. Just click OK. Everything's fine, and it's saved. And we will do that again. Export as a physics file. It's SMD as well, so the type should stay as SMD, and you just have to name it as something else, which is the physics file for it. There we go. Save. And that's it. Now you have that. You might want to save it as something so you don't lose it. There we go. Make sure you don't lose it. And now we can exit this. And we have our our sword as well. So now what we will do is we will go back into our workshop folder. In our workshop folder, we will go into models, our Steam ID, and here we will make a new folder called whatever the sword name is. It's recommended to stay the same name as your texture folder as well, so you should keep everything the same name. Now, keep in mind, this is not your materials folder, this is the models folder. So we went out of the materials folder. Now here, what you will do is put these two things into here, and then you will need a QC file. So you will need a QC file for this. Now, let's see, here is one QC file for it. Let's just rename it. The QC file controls basically on your compiling. So what you want to do is open this up, and this will be given as well, and I will tell you what you have to change. And all we have to do now is click on that and just change it with that. There we go. And that's it. Now we have that as well. There we go. So now we have everything ready to make the sword. So now what we will do is we will open up your Studio MDL. You don't have to use this program, but I use it because it works very well and it does everything for you without any problems. So I will link where you can get this in the description. And what you have to do with this is, first of all, open it up. Now, when you open this up, it will give you probably an error. So what you want to do is just click on OK. And here at the config tab, you want to set your episode 1 tool path. Now, what you want to do is go into your computer and find your Steam. Let's go Steam apps. Under your name, you should have a Source SDK installed as well. So you might want to get Source SDK, which you can get off Steam. So in your Source SDK, you should go into bin, episode 1, and here into bin as well. And this is what you want to select. So you want to get episode 1. So you want to install Source SDK and you want to get this GUI Studio. and just select the episode 1. Now what you want to do is, when you have selected that, what you want to do is over here at the target mod, click on add, and now find wherever your workshop folder is, and then select the game info. Open up the game info. As you see here, it writes Blade Symphony Workshop, and now what you want to do is click on File at the top left corner, and then click on Load QC File. Now you will go into your models, your ID, your folder where you saved your model, and select your QC file which we just edited, and click on Open. Now after this, what you want to do is click on Compile, make sure that SDK version is selected as episode 1, and seems like there is a problem. Alright, so we will set back our episode 1. Steam apps, my name, source SDK, bin, episode 1, bin. Okay, there we go. Now we will do the same things back again. So game info and load QC file, models, this, the metal, and that. Now compile again. Now what you have to do is you have to have Steam started up. So let's start up Steam. So after you've opened up Steam, what you want to do is basically click on compile. There we go. So we have a problem. Alright, I'll come back to you when I fix that. Alright, so we found the problem. It's not named correctly, so what we will do is we will rename this to MDL. There we go. So one should be named MDL, and the other one is the FHYS, which stands for physics, and the other one stands for model. So now we will exit this and we will open up our studio, and now we will just do the same things over again. Here we go, open that up, load QC file. There we go, we will load up the QC file and now click on compile, and now it's working. Now it will generate the stuff that's needed, and that's pretty much it. Now you have your sword ready. And now what you want to do is open up Blade Symphony. So let's open up Blade Symphony. Alright, now that you have Blade Symphony open up, what you want to do is click on Settings, go in game, select Workshop, and here select My Swords. Now under here, select Create, and now just give it a name. Let's see, and now here click on the sword model and then select your sword model, which is already in the models folder, so you just select the folder where you have your sword and select the MDL file. Now the scabbard model is your sheath, and we will cover that in the next video, which will contain some extra stuff as well as the sheath. Now this is where you want your sword to be held. It's not just your sheath, it's where the sword will be put. So we want this on our back, and here you can select your custom tracer. So we can select that. The reset tracer resets your tracer to the default one, and now here you can select what kind of sword you want it to make, and you can give it another title, you can give it whatever description, and here you can select the preview. Now as you can see, everything's working fine, it's not bad, and what we can do now is just go and position it somewhere. There we go, like that, for example. Click on OK, and now what you can do is click OK, and now you have it. Now you can go click on OK, done, and you can just go back. Now you can click on Customize, and what you can do here is on these arrows you can click on this, and it will take you to the sword itself. Now you can't really see the actual guitar on here, so what you can do is just click on the details, and now you can see the guitar part as well. So, and as you can see, because of our exponent map, this is recoloring, so we can make it whatever color I want. So yeah, now click on select, and now we can test the sword. So we will go on play online and host game. We are going to host a game. Select FFA community, select FFA game mode, 2 slots, that's the minimum, unfortunately. No bots, and whatever you want as bot difficulty. Then click on start server. Now the game will start up, and what you want to do is press F10 if you have consoles enabled. If you do not have the console enabled, we will go into that in a second as well. So let's say you don't have console enabled. So what you want to do, as you can see, my sword is not the one that I selected because our cheats have to be enabled. So what we will do is go on settings, we will go on to game, and here we will go into controls. Here we go. So here we will go into controls and developer console. There we go, allow developer console enabled. And that's it. You have to enable that, and what you do now is press F10, select the console, and now what you want to write is SV underline cheats 1 space 1. There we go. And now what we will do is press M to get up the customization. Make sure to unselect the sword, and now reselect the sword. And as you can see, everything's working correctly. He's holding the sword correctly. He's hitting with it correctly. And everything works just as planned. And that's it, pretty much. Now, as you can see, everything's okay. You can see the tracer. You can check the tracer by typing in host set, where is it? There we go. Host time scale 0.1. You can change the time scale. Now what you can do is just give it a side attack, and as you can see, now you can see the tracer in its full glory. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, and as you can see, the tracer recolors as well, and you can see the sword, everything's working fine. It's not too shiny. You can test this out on the max settings, and if it's too shiny, all you have to do is go into the Photoshop and change down the shininess, which is the alpha channel. So what you want to do is go into the alpha channel and change the opacity down from 5% to, let's say, 1%, and then it won't be shiny at all. So that's pretty much it. Now you have your own sword, and in the next video we will cover on how to make the actual sheath for the sword and what's different in the sheath as well. So thank you for watching. As a side note, if you want to have the sword uploaded into the workshop without a sheath, just like how we've done it right now, then what you have to do is just go on settings, game, go into your workshop, my swords, and here you have your sword, and what you can do is click on publish, and when you click on publish, it will publish it to the workshop. You can click on edit if you want to make changes to it, and that's pretty much it. So see you in the next final and extra episode, which we will cover.